You know, you might think of meditation as this mystical cross-legged journey to enlightenment.
Right.
But what if I told you it is actually a ruthless biological hack to steal back the sleep you're missing?
It really is.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are dismantling basically everything you know about rest.
Yeah, we have some incredible source material today.
We do. We're looking at this excerpted document simply titled Chapter05.txt, and it focuses on the science of meditation and this really wild concept called sleepability.
Mhm.
And our mission today is simple. We want to reframe meditation from a purely spiritual exercise into a strictly biological state, a state where you basically let your body fall asleep while keeping your mind fully awake.
Which lets you enter this world of effortlessness, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because right out of the gate, understanding this mechanism can literally reverse aging and massively boost your brain power.
What's fascinating here is the massive paradox of modern life. I mean, think about it. We live in a culture that absolutely starves our biology of sleep, right?
Oh, totally.
Yet simultaneously, society demands peak cognitive and physical performance at all times. We treat profound rest like it's just a massive inconvenience.
Yeah, like it's a character flaw or something.
Exactly. So the concept of using meditation as a bridge, like a stealth mechanism, to get the biological benefits of sleep while remaining entirely conscious, it completely changes the game.
It really does. But before we can really look at stealth sleep and how to actually do it, we first have to look at how broken our relationship with actual sleep is.
Oh, it's so broken.
I mean, William Shakespeare famously wrote, "There is plenty of time to sleep in the grave."
Wow, yeah.
That captures our societal vibe perfectly, doesn't it? We associate sleep with laziness. We wear sleep deprivation like a badge of honor.
We do, yeah.
But then you look at the reality of elite performance. NBA superstar LeBron James, he sleeps 12 hours a day.
12 hours.
12 hours. And he prioritizes it because sleep isn't just about feeling a little less groggy. It's the primary mechanism for physical recovery, preventing disease, and halting the aging process.
Absolutely.
But wait, hold on. I have to push back here for the sake of anyone
Yeah.
listening. LeBron James sleeps 12 hours because his physical body is literally a multi-million-dollar asset.
Right.
I'm just trying to survive a Tuesday morning staff meeting and get my inbox to zero. So, do regular people really need to treat sleep like an elite sport? Or is 12 hours just a luxury for a billionaire athlete?
Honestly, treating sleep as a luxury is active self-sabotage.
Mm.
Biologically speaking, you don't need to be an NBA player to require profound physiological maintenance.
So we all need that level of repair.
Yeah, the LeBron James protocol isn't a prescription for everyone to sleep half the day away,
Yeah.
but it highlights a biological reality.
Mm.
When we cut into our sleep time, we aren't just creating a little brain fog.
Right.
We are systematically dismantling our body's ability to repair cellular damage. It's a foundational biological imperative, whether you are trying to win a championship or, just trying to be mentally sharp enough to do your taxes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Sleep is highly active.
Mhm.
It's a metabolically demanding process
Yeah.
where your body is doing the heavy lifting of keeping you alive and functioning.
So what is actually happening under the hood when we finally go to sleep? I mean, Professor Matthew Walker from UC Berkeley has done incredible research on this, and the data is staggering.
It really is.
Like, a sleep-deprived person's learning ability drops by 40% compared to someone who is well-rested.
40%.
That's a massive cognitive penalty. And it all comes down to a two-stage memory process in the human brain.
Mm-hmm.
First, new information hits the hippocampus, which is your short-term storage area. But to actually retain that information, it has to be transferred to the cortex for long-term storage.
Exactly.
And that critical transfer process can only happen while we sleep.
Yeah, and we live in an age of constant information explosion. Every single day, you are bombarding your hippocampus with enormous amounts of data.
Emails, podcasts, news articles.
Conversations, all of it. If you don't sleep, the brain literally lacks the biological window to move that data into the cortex. So you wake up the next day, and not only have you lost the memories you tried to form yesterday, but your hippocampus is still sole. It physically cannot accept new information.
So you're basically trying to pour water into a glass that's already overflowing.
That's exactly it.
This is where the smartphone analogy from the text makes perfect sense to me. Think of the hippocampus like the RAM on your phone or computer, that small memory chip used for temporary, incredibly fast access.
Right.
And then the cortex is your massive long-term hard drive. During the day, you're opening apps, downloading files, using up that RAM.
Yep.
When the phone is idle, data writes to the hard drive, But if you never let the phone rest, the RAM gets completely clogged. The old data just accumulates.
And we've all seen what happens then.
Yeah, the phone gets glitchy, apps start crashing, and eventually the screen just freezes.
Yeah.
So what do? You do a hard restart?
Yeah.
You shut the entire system down to clear the cache, and then it runs smoothly again.
Which is exactly what sleep is. A long, deep sleep is your brain's hard restart. And underneath that digital cache clearing is a very physical, mechanical sweep. There's a biological mechanism called the glymphatic system.
The glymphatic system.
Yeah, think of it as the brain's specialized sewage treatment plant. During deep sleep, the brain's glial cells actually shrink in size by up to 60%.
Wait, the brain cells physically shrink to let the cleaning crew in?
That is the literal mechanism. This creates physical space between your brain cells. Then cerebrospinal fluid rushes through these newly widened channels, acting like a power washer, to literally clear away metabolic waste products.
Oh, wow, like a power washer.
Exactly. And this includes amyloid plaques, which are the toxic proteins directly associated with Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative dementias.
That is terrifying.
It is. And as we age, the efficiency of this glymphatic wash naturally degrades. So when you actively skip sleep, you're allowing toxic protein waste to accumulate in your brain tissue night after night.
Jeez.
It's a direct cause and effect relationship. Skipping sleep is depriving your brain of its nightly deep clean, which fast-tracks cognitive decline.
Which makes the math of lost sleep absolutely terrifying when you really look at it. And we're not even talking about pulling all-nighters here.
Right, just everyday sleep loss.
Yeah, what happens when you just trim a little bit off the edges? Say you're getting 5 or 6 hours instead of 8. Let's look at hormones and aging.
This part blew my mind.
Right. Men who routinely sleep 5 to 6 hours a night end up with the testosterone levels of someone 10 years older. It ages them a full decade.
A full decade.
And for women, sleeping 5 to 6 hours a night causes a 20% drop in follicle-stimulating hormone, or FSH, which is absolutely critical for reproductive health and becoming pregnant.
Yeah, and to put that in perspective, a decade of aging in testosterone levels means a drastic reduction in your ability to build and maintain muscle mass. It affects your bone density, making you more prone to injury. It tanks your baseline energy levels and severely impacts your mood regulation.
So we think we're just getting away with it.
Exactly. We often think we're just borrowing an hour here or there to finish a Netflix series, treating sleep like a bank account with zero interest overdraft.
Right.
But the biological toll is a compounding physical crisis.
Right.
You are training foundational vitality for screen time, effectively putting your endocrine system on fast forward.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting and honestly a bit scary. Let's look at the daylight savings time
A
phenomenon.
lot of this data is wild.
On the Monday after we spring forward, when society collectively loses just 1 single hour of sleep hospital admissions for heart disease, spike by 24% the very next day.
24%.
Yes. And in the fall, when we gain that 1 hour back, heart disease admissions drop by 21%. Traffic accidents, suicide rates, they all show these identical immediate spikes and drops.
It's incredible.
But I have to ask, and I know the data is there, but can one single missing hour genuinely cause a 24% spike in heart attacks? It makes human biology seem incredibly fragile. Are we really hanging by that thin of a thread?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it demonstrates the razor-thin margins of our circadian biology.
Okay.
Our cardiovascular systems, immune responses, and hormonal cascades operate on incredibly precise rhythms dictated by our internal clocks. Losing that single hour isn't magically creating heart disease overnight from nothing. Rather, that hour of deprivation acts as an acute stressor. It tips an already fragile system over the edge.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it causes an immediate spike in heart rate, a spike in blood pressure, and an overactivation of the sympathetic nervous system.
So it's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
It is, and it applies across all age groups and cognitive functions, too. Just look at the data on school start times.
Oh, right.
In Edina, Minnesota, the public school district delayed their start time by just 1 hour. The SAT scores for the top 10% of their students skyrocketed from an average of 1288 to 1500.
That is insane.
And in Teton, Wyoming, a 1 hour delay led to a 70% drop in traffic accidents for 16 to 18-year-old novice drivers. 1 single hour of biological repair dictates cognitive brilliance and life-or-death physical coordination.
A jump from 1288 to 1500 on the SATs, just from starting school at 8:30 instead of 7:30.
Hmm.
That is literally the difference between getting into an average college and getting into an Ivy League school.
It really is.
And a 70% drop in teen car crashes. It's undeniable. So if lack of sleep is literally killing us, accelerating aging, and destroying our memories, how do we fix it?
Right.
Because the obvious solutions don't actually work. When people realize they need more sleep, they usually reach for sleeping pills or melatonin. But there is a massive catch.
A huge catch.
Those drugs might keep you unconscious in bed for a full 8 hours, but they significantly reduce your deep sleep. They absolutely ruin the actual quality of the rest.
Yeah, these medications typically function as sedative hypnotics. They target receptors in the brain to force chemical unconsciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But unconsciousness is not the same thing as the complex orchestrated cycles of REM and non-REM sleep. By forcefully suppressing brain activity, you are blocking the brain from ever reaching those deep, slow-wave sleep stages where the actual cellular repair takes place.
So the power washers never turn on.
Exactly. The glial cells aren't shrinking. The glymphatic system isn't washing the amyloid plaques effectively. You wake up feeling hungover because you were sedated, not rejuvenated.
Which feeds right into the brutal trap of modern life. Every morning, you are jolted awake by a blaring alarm clock long before your body is actually done repairing itself.
Yep.
You rush through a busy morning, eat lunch, and then 2 p.m. hits, and you are fighting for your life to stay awake during a boring meeting.
We've all been there.
You finally get home, exhausted, knowing you should go to bed early, but you want some time for yourself. You turn on the TV, you read the news, you get into bed and start doom scrolling on your phone.
Doom scroll, yeah.
Now your brain is wired by the blue light, you can't fall asleep, and the cycle resets. You set the alarm hoping to just survive the next day.
It's a relentless loop driven by artificial lighting, rigid work schedules, and eventually the natural aging process, which intrinsically diminishes our ability to sustain long, continuous sleep.
Mm-hmm.
This brings us to the ultimate countermeasure, the biological definition of meditation. We need to strip away the incense and the chanting for a second.
Okay.
Biologically, meditation is simply a natural way of sleeping. It is the act of sitting still, letting the body fall asleep, while the mind remains completely conscious.
Wait, let me stop you there. Because if I am tired, shouldn't I just go to my actual bed and sleep?
You're in a perfect world.
Why bother with meditation if it's basically just a workaround for sleep? If I need rest, I want the real thing.
Because the reality of your life, and almost everyone's life, is that you are rarely lucky enough to have the luxury of finding a bed whenever your biology demands it. You can't crawl under your desk at 2 in the afternoon. Furthermore, as aging alters our sleep architecture, even retired individuals with zero schedule constraints find they cannot physically force themselves to sleep 8 straight hours anymore.
Right, their bodies just won't do it.
Exactly. You need a stealth mechanism. You need a way to gain the biological benefits of sleep, the lowered heart rate, the muscle repair, the stress reduction during your waking hours without dropping out of your daily life.
Stealth sleep. Okay, how do we actually deploy this meditation as sleep biological hack in the real world without looking completely ridiculous?
It's easier than you'd think.
The mechanics are surprisingly simple from what I read. The single key element of meditation, and possibly the only key element, is keeping the body still.
That's it.
Posture doesn't matter. You can sit on the ground, on a chair, on the couch, eyes open, eyes closed, half open. It makes zero difference. As long as your body is entirely perfectly still, it starts to enter sleep mode.
Yeah, look at the historical precedent. In traditional Chinese martial arts, there is a standing meditation practice known as Zanzhuang.
Right.
Kung Fu masters would require new students to stand perfectly still in this meditative state for 3 entire years before teaching them a single physical fighting technique.
3 years.
3 years. Those ancient practitioners understood the profound link between absolute stillness, deep meditative rest, and ultimate physical performance.
Yeah.
They were mastering the micro movements of the body to achieve cellular recovery while remaining upright.
3 years of just standing still. That is serious dedication to stealth sleep.
Truly.
There's also lying down meditation, which sounds amazing. It's described as having mystery and fun. But for me, the absolute game changer is the superpower of meditating during a boring meeting.
Oh, this is the best application.
Picture this. You're sitting in a conference room. You hold your body perfectly still. You let your physical body fall asleep. But because your mind is awake, you hear the boss's entire presentation. You can answer questions if called upon. You might even find your mind is clear, generating novel ideas while your physical form is essentially napping.
It's amazing.
It's almost like putting your computer monitor to sleep to save power, but leaving the hard drive running in the background to download a massive file. Your body's screen is off, but the mind is still processing the room.
That analogy captures the dual state perfectly. You are separating the physical demand from the cognitive awareness.
So, what does this all mean for the person trying this tomorrow? Like, if I purposefully put my body to sleep in a chair during a staff meeting, how do I guarantee I won't start loudly snoring or drooling or just slumping over in front of everyone?
Right, you don't want that.
It sounds like a fast track to a meeting with HR.
Well, this raises an important question about the neurological guardrails of this state. Remember the core definition. The body sleeps, but the mind remains awake. Because your mind is fully conscious, you maintain complete situational awareness. Normal sleep causes you to slump over and snore because your conscious control completely shuts off, right? Your muscle tone collapses.
Oh, okay.
But in this meditative state, that active consciousness prevents those embarrassing physical tells. You are getting the bodily repair, the drop in cortisol, the lowered blood pressure, but your waking mind acts as a stabilizing force, keeping your posture upright and your breathing regulated.
That is wild. And you can do this on the couch while watching TV.
Yeah.
You just keep your body perfectly still, goes into sleep mode, but your mind follows the plot of the drama. You get the rest without missing your evening entertainment.
Exactly.
And this leads to what might be the most practical application of all the ultimate cure for insomnia. If you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, stressing about the fact you aren't sleeping, the advice is to just lie still and meditate.
Just lie still.
Let the body sleep. Even if your brain never turns off, your body is getting all the normal physiological benefits of sleep. Practically speaking, you never truly have insomnia again.
It completely neutralizes the anxiety of wakefulness. If you internalize that conscious stillness is a form of sleep, then lying awake in bed is no longer a failure.
Right.
Every physiological benefit you get from normal sleep, the immune system boosting, the cardiovascular repair, the hormone regulation is actively happening while you lie there in conscious stillness.
Yeah.
It gives you back control over your biology.
This is a massive paradigm shift. We started off looking at a culture that treats sleep like an enemy of productivity. A culture that is literally driving us a physical ruin, hormone depletion, and cognitive decline. Sleep is the foundation of youth and health.
It really is.
But since modern life constantly steals our sleep, and since aging naturally degrades it, we have to take matters into our own hands. Stillness is the ultimate life hack. Meditation isn't about clearing your mind all thoughts to reach some esoteric enlightenment. It is a highly practical biological tool to reclaim your lost sleep anytime, anywhere.
It democratizes rest. It transforms a perceived vulnerability, being exhausted in a nonstop world, into an opportunity for biological mastery.
So to you listening right now, the next time you are sitting exhausted in a mid-afternoon meeting or you find yourself staring at the bedroom ceiling at 3 a.m., you don't need to panic about the terrifying math of lost sleep.
No, you don't.
You don't need to stress about your hippocampus failing to clear its cache. You just need to keep your physical body entirely still. Let your physical form rest, let it fall asleep while your mind stays perfectly awake.
And I'll leave you with this thought to mull over. If we connect this to the bigger picture, if we can biologically put our physical bodies to sleep while our minds remain fully conscious, listening, understanding, and generating new ideas, what does that tell us about the actual divide between our physical bodies and our consciousness? Are they perhaps completely separate systems, just temporarily sharing the same space?
Wow. That is a wild thought to leave off on. We hope this deep dive completely changes how you view your next moment of stillness. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one.